So now we have seen the nature of the interference pattern. It consists of alternate bright and dark band. The band should be sharp, clearly visible, easily distinguishable, like this. So when the pattern is called as steady or stationary, means what are the properties, what are the characteristics of stationary or steady interference pattern, and how these characteristics are observable, what are the necessary conditions that we are going to see. So what are the requirement of the stationary interference pattern that we will see. So characteristics, characteristics of stationary or steady interference. Stationary or steady interference. So we know the meaning of steady. In the chapter electrostatic, we have seen the meaning. Static means stationary, fixed, not movable. So its meaning is given. The bright and dark band in the interference pattern should be stationary. They should not change their position. They should not shift from their position. So if this happens, then the pattern, the bands in the interference pattern are said to be stationary. So what are the characteristics? First characteristics. The interference pattern, the interference bands, the interference band should not shift. That is, their position remains fixed. Their positions remains fixed. Second, in the interference pattern there should be only bright and dark band. There should be no colored band like a rainbow, like a spectrum, like this. Second characteristics, there should be no colored bands present in interference pattern. Interference pattern. Third, the bands are separated by sufficiently large distance so that they are easily distinguishable. They are easily distinguishable and clearly visible. Next, there is good intensity contrast. There is a good intensity contrast between bright and dark bands. Next, the interference bands should be sharp, and clearly the interference should be short and no blurred bands are observed. So these are the 5 requirements of the steady interference pattern, like this. Now, to have this characteristic, there are certain conditions for the waves, for the sources. What are those conditions? That now we have to see. So now, to fulfill these characteristics, what are the necessary conditions that now we have to see? So for first characteristic, the interference band should not shift. Their location remains fixed, and for that purpose, the sources must be coherent. First, the two sources of light must be coherent. It is necessary condition. Must. So what will happen if the sources are not coherent? If now this is the explanation for the first condition. State and explain. So we are giving also explanation. If the sources are not coherent, then the phases and phase difference between two waves at the point of crossing, at the point of superimposition, at the point of crossing is not remaining constant. Therefore, the bands will shift, that is, will change their positions, and then and then the interference will not be steady. Will not be steady. So this condition is necessary. The phases and phase difference between the two waves at the point of crossing should remain constant, and this is possible only when the sources are coherent. So this is the first requirement. The second requirement. These are necessary conditions. The two sources of light must be, again this is the necessary condition, must be monochromatic. Must be monochromatic, like this. Must be monochromatic. We know the meaning of monochromatic sources. Mono means once and chroma means color. So the two waves should have one and the same wavelength. If there are different wavelength, then the interference band will superimpose. They will overlap and we will observe the colored band. So at some point there may be red band, at some point there may be a green band like this. So colored bands are observed if the sources are not monochromatic. So what is the requirement that we can explain like this? If the sources are not monochromatic, what will happen? If the sources are not monochromatic, then they will produce light waves of different wavelength. So one source may be producing red waves, other may be producing green waves, etc. So they produce the light waves of different wavelength. Therefore, the bands of different wavelength overlap, and we observe colored band, red band, like a spectrum, like a rainbow. We observe colored bands instead of bright and dark bands. Bright and dark bands. Therefore, the pattern will not be steady. Will not be steady like this. So on the left hand side we have given the characteristics of the stationary interference pattern. So see this first characteristic, the interference band should not shift. In this case the interference band will shift and therefore pattern will not be stationary. So for this condition, this is the requirement. There should be no colored band. For this is the requirement. The two sources of light must be monochromatic. So they will produce the light waves of only one wavelength, and if the wavelength is same, then at the point of crossing we observe either bright and dark band, and this band remains fixed, remains stationary like this. So these are the two necessary conditions. The sources must be coherent, the sources must be monochromatic. So in all the experiment of interference, like Young's experiment, Fresnel biprism experiment, these conditions are satisfied. We have seen already the experimental setup of the Young's experiment, and there we have explained how the coherent and monochromatic sources are produced. If the original source is monochromatic, then coherent sources will produce the light waves of only one wavelength. So S1 and S2 slits are also monochromatic. S1, S2 slits are coherent and they are also monochromatic. So these two conditions are already satisfied in Young's double slit experiment by DSE. Now for the remaining three properties, what are the conditions that now we have to see? Now, the third condition is the two sources of light should be. This is not a necessary condition. Should and must. We know the difference between them. The two sources of light should be close to each other. Why? If the sources are close, then distance small d between two coherent sources is small, that is d is very much less than capital D, and therefore the bandwidth W is equal to lambda capital D upon small d is large enough the bandwidth W is large enough and the bands are widely separated and easily distinguishable. So for this third characteristics, this is the condition. The two sources of light must be coherent, easily distinguishable, and clearly visible. Now, for this fourth there is a good intensity contrast between the bright and dark band. So to get good contrast, we already know the condition. The two sources should be equally bright, they should have equal amplitude. The two sources should, again this is a should produce necessary condition. It is not necessary condition, it is a sufficient condition. The two sources should produce light waves of nearly equal amplitudes, that is E1 0 is equal to E2 0 is equal to E0. The amplitude of the two interfering waves, the electric field vectors of the two interfering waves should have equal amplitude. The two sources should produce light waves of nearly equal amplitude, that is sources should be equally bright. Should be equally bright so that dark band are completely dark, having zero intensity, of light. Therefore, intensity contrast is good. Intensity contrast is good. So to get good intensity contrast, the two sources should have equal amplitude, or two sources should be equally bright, like this. Now, the interference band should be sharp and no blurred bands are observed. So for that purpose, the condition is like this. Two sources of light. The two sources of light should be narrow. So they should be narrow rectangular slits. So if the slits are not narrow, means if the slits are broad, then large number of secondary sources from the broad slit interfere and the bands overlap, they produce blood interference bands. If the sources are not narrow slit, that is, if we use broad slits, then large number of secondary waves from the two broad slits cross at a point and bands will overlap, producing blurred interference bands. So the pattern will not be steady. So we require these types of narrow rectangular slits. S1, S2. This is correct. The sources should not be like this. S1, S2. So sources are broad. So the sources should not be of this size. Narrow sources. So in this case, the number of secondary waves crossing each other is very few number, and therefore the bands are bright and dark, sharp, easily sharp and clearly visible bands are So this is our requirement, like this. There is one more condition. If the polarized light is used, then the two sources should be in same state of polarization. If polarized light waves are used for producing interference. Generally, we use unpolarized light, ordinary light, and therefore this condition is not compulsory. If we are using polarized light to produce the interference pattern, then the two sources should be in the same state of polarization, like this. So already we have seen the meaning of coherent sources. The coherent sources are having constant phase difference. So how this condition is satisfied? For that purpose, in Young's double slit experiment, we have used one method. Now here we are going to see the method using the Lloyd's mirror. A. Use of Lloyd's mirror. So the arrangement is like this. So AB is the screen where we are to observe the steady interference pattern. AB. Now, perpendicular to this AB, a mirror is kept here like this. The mirror is kept in the horizontal position. So, the mirror is kept like this. It is a reflecting surface. M for light mirror. Here there is a real source S. It may be a narrow rectangular slit. So from this source, one ray of light is incident directly at point P1. This is the another ray of light. These ray of light are incident directly P2. They are denoted by I1 and I2. Now, the rays of light from the source, they are also incident on the mirror, and after a reflection, from the mirror, they again strike the point P1 and P2. So they are denoted by R1 and R2. First reflected ray R1, second reflected ray R2. So now, suppose I will join this. So R1 and R2. This is the ray of light incident at this point. It is reflected, and after reflection it goes to the P1. So this reflected ray is the R1. Another incident ray is the incident at this point. After reflection, it goes to P2. So at point P1, there are two rays. One is incident ray I1 and other is reflected ray R1 are crossing each other. At point P2, there are again two rays, one incident ray I2 and reflected ray. So if this R1 and R2, they are produced in the backward direction, they cross each other. So at this point of crossing, we will get one more image of S. So S dash is a virtual image formed by the mirror of the source S. So the light waves from S1 and S dash, S and S dash, they are coherent sources. So in this figure, AB is a screen of observation. Screen of observation. M is a light mirror used to form coherent sources. Coherent sources. S is a real source of light. L dash is a virtual image or virtual source of S formed by light mirror M. The waves I1 and I2 from source S and the waves R1 and R2 from source S dash cross each other at points P1 and P2 on screen AB, and the main point is this, and phase difference between I1 and R1 at point P1 also phase difference between I2 and R2 at point P2 is remaining constant. Hence S and its virtual image A dash are coherent sources. So this is the use of light mirror, like this. Second method that we have used is in Young's double slit experiment. The arrangement is like this. Screen number 1 is having S original slit. Screen number 2 it is having two narrow rectangular slit S1 and S2. So distance SS1 and distance SS2 are same. So the two slits S1 and S2 in screen second are equidistant from narrow rectangular slit S in screen first, so that SS1 is equal to SS2. Therefore, phase difference between S1 and S2 is a constant. Therefore, slits S1 and S2 behaves like coherent sources. Coherent sources like this. Now there is one more method, C. In Fresnel, name of the scientist, in Fresnel's experiment, biprism is used to produce coherent sources. So these three methods are included in our syllabus. One is a light mirror, second one is a Young's double slit experiment, and third one is this Fresnel biprism experiment. So here we are using the biprism. Now what is meant by biprism? How it produces the coherent sources? That experiment we have to see in detail. So see the ray diagram. This AB is a screen of observation, M is a light mirror, this is a non-transparent surface. So this upper surface is a reflecting surface. So this is a monochromatic source. S is a monochromatic source, it produces light of only one wavelength. So these are the two incident rays, I1 and I2. They are directly incident on the screen AB at point P1 and P2. Now, to produce the interference, what is the necessary condition? There should be two minimum waves interfering each other. The P1 P2 पॉइंटला अजून वेव्स क्रॉस व्हायला पाहिजे. आपण फक्त एकच वेव दाखवले I1 I2. So the remaining waves are produced after reflection from the mirror M. So this is the third incident ray. After reflection from this point, it is going in this direction. So I1 and R1, they cross each other at point P1. Phase difference between them is remaining constant. Then the second incident ray from S is incident at this point. It is reflected toward the point P2. So I1 and R1 cross each other at point P1. I2 and R2 cross each other at point P2. So phase difference between I1 and R1 is remaining constant. phase difference between I2 and R2 is remaining constant at point P2. If the phase difference at point P1 is say 0 degree or 360 degree, 0, 2 pi, 4 pi, even multiple of pi, then P1 point will be brighter. If the phase difference at point P2 is odd multiple of pi, then P2 will appear dark. So in this way, depending upon the phase difference between I1, R1, I2, R2, etc., at point P1, P2, P3, P4 like this, we get alternate bright and dark band. So coherent sources producing constant phase difference are produced by using this method. So S is a real source and S dash is a virtual image. So the waves from S and S dash, they cross each other at point P1 and P2 with constant phase difference. Therefore, S and S dash, the real source and its virtual image formed by the Lloyd mirror, they behave as the coherent sources. So this is the method. Actually, this is only the theoretical part. Now, in case of interference, the Fresnel biprism experiment is remaining. So we will see that experiment in the next session. Okay, we'll stop here.